The Evergreen Media Network Studio, powered by Scott Tree Services.
Hey, and welcome to the first Uplifting Uplifters. I'm the proudly present president of Team Success Enterprises, Michael C. Marsh, and we have a great show for you today. The show is called Uplifting the Uplifters, where we bring on community uplifters and we just talk about all the great stuff that's happening in our community. Like everything else, it takes money and generous sponsors, and I want to thank my two sponsors today. We have Adam Ogilvie from Orc Services for all your restoration needs for your home. And then we also have Pedro Burnaby, realtor over from Deal Sourcing. But before we get started with our amazing guest today, Captain over at the jail, Captain Angela Rosado Jones. Thank you very much for being here today, Captain.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get started, tell us what in the world is Orc Services, Adam?
Oh man, Orc Services is your turnkey home repair specialist. Anything from a water damage to a mold to putting you a brand new kitchen in your house. That's what we do. So anything happens, give us a call. We have you covered.
Thank you. And my other sponsor, what do you do, Pedro?
Well, I wear many hats here in the county. However, this one I am working as a realtor, and I do specialize more in commercial. But if you have any residential needs, I am there. I'm always available 24/7.
Thank you. So today's show is titled From Exit to Reentry. About 6 months ago, we took on an adventure with our partnership with the Interim County Sheriff's Office, and that was, how are we going to combat recidivism? And how you do that is to make sure these men and women have places that they're going to live, where they're going to work, and get them those resources as they get back in society. So it was very fitting for our first show to invite on Captain Jones. And Captain, why don't you talk about the past and present of what reentry or the lack of reentry once looked like, and what does it look like today?
Well, today our reentry has grown tremendously. In 18 years of being at the county jail, we did not have someone to offer the inmates, like you said, the housing, offer them jobs. But with our reentry, we started going internally, and we started offering classes to help the inmates learn how to search for a job, how to do their resumes, and how to do job presentation. And with that, I branched out with different organizations in the community who have stepped up, who will come in, who will talk to the inmates, vet the inmates to help them get the services that they need.
Now, you had your first time an actual job fair that was inside the jail. Can you talk about that?
That started from speaking with one of the inmates, and he had expressed to me that he couldn't find a job, and that he was trying to find a job when he got out. So what I did, I got with our local organizations once again, and I brought in 5 vendors, and I got inmates that were getting out in 45 days. We helped them with the class with Career Source. We helped them build their resumes. We helped them present themselves. And the vendors came in, and they sat and they went around the table and they spoke to everyone. And successfully, we got about 5 out of 7 people got employed.
That's awesome. And is that something you're going to be bringing back every year?
Yes, it's going to be an annual event, and the next one should be in the middle of July.
Awesome. Now, you also have the ability to help these inmates with their IDs, with their mobile unit. Can you touch on that?
I also brought in the Florida License on Wheel, and what that does is they come to the jail, they offer them their ID. We also help them with their birth certificate. We help them with their social security cards. You'll be amazed at how many people don't even just have their social security card. And once again, that idea came from a homeless citizen. When he was getting out, he wanted to get a job again. He wanted to get back on his feet, but he didn't have the basic tools that he needed. So we brought them in to help the other inmate population.
Now, before we get to some of the other programs, and Pedro and Adam jump in anytime.
Yeah,
this is unscripted.
Well, this is amazing, by the way, of what the Indian River County Sheriff's Department's doing, like almost unheard of. And I don't know about you, anybody that's out there listening to the show, it's pretty exciting. I think that there could be an opportunity for everybody and anybody to join in and joining this program one way or another.
Definitely. And we're going to touch on how the community can get involved. But I want to go back to something you mentioned with the ID cards. You know, when we started years ago, thinking about working with inmates, I wanted to be a barrier blocker. And for us, if I was to say, Pedro, where's your driver's license? Immediately you can say, oh, it's right here. But for someone who's homeless, who maybe can't afford that $6 or whatever the reduced rate is, or that birth certificate that's in another state that's $20-something. I mean, that is a lot for someone who's getting back on their feet. So 3 years ago, we created a community resource fair where there's funding right now inside Unite Against Poverty, whether it's a birth certificate, an ID card, your driver's license. You know, you can get these items to get back, because you can't start working if you don't have your ID, if you don't have your Social Security card. So that's great. And I just want to put that out there, that if someone's listening, or if an organization, Unite Against Poverty, still has funding where if you need that ID card. But let's move on to a couple other adventures.
Before you
Go ahead,
continue,
Pedro.
Mike, and I want to say how you came up with something like that. Mike and I worked at a project doing drug and alcohol abuse treatment, and Mike, helped us with some case management for these people that came out of the street. A lot of people came from jail, and I'm just like really soaking in what you're saying, because to me it's amazing. And we had a lot of issues getting birth certificates, getting Social Security cards, and Mike had come with these ideas like, why is this so crazy? Why is it so hard to get someone to help them? So I just want to say, like, that's one of the reasons I believe you got into helping and pushing this forward.
And Mike, if I can add, with our inmate population, especially our homeless population, they don't have to pay for that birth certificate. They don't have to pay for that Florida ID. Once we establish that they're homeless or they're indigent, we allow the inmate welfare fund to take care of that cost for
That's
the
great.
inmate. So those inmates do get the ability to have what they need to get started.
That's amazing. Now, besides the ID, something else that's very important is clothes. And for those of you who don't know, there's an entire thrift store over at the jail. Captain, why don't you talk about your thrift store?
Yeah,
Your free thrift store.
my free thrift store is offered to all of our inmates. We don't care if you have money or don't have money in your account. If you're getting out and you need to get the basic necessities to get back on your feet, it's provided. A lot of the community have been tremendous in helping, giving me the donations that I need. So what we do, the inmates will ask the tablet for requests for clothing, and my reentry staff or my inmate management team will go out and take the inmates so they can get at least 14 days of clothes. Anything that you can think of is over there in the thrift store.
And Captain, I have the great opportunity, thanks to Mike, to have come and look at this thrift store, and it has, so many different options. And you're talking about just not, it's good clothing, good quality,
good quality,
and it's not something that you'll be, I was like, man, what can I buy some of this stuff?
Captain's giving away Air Maxes.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it like that, but yeah, they have some really nice shoes.
Now don't go to jail and get the Air Max, but
and that was also done because, as you know, sometimes when people come in, get incarcerated, they come in at a certain size, and when they leave, they're a different size.
Sure.
And my biggest thing wasn't so much the size; it was the fact that I didn't want them going back out there snatching and grabbing, if I can say that. I didn't want them running into Target or running into Walmart just to get a pair of shoes. Out
of necessity.
So just the basic necessities, and I think that's all they needed, just to get back on their feet.
And
I think it's fantastic. I think as any River County resident, you don't want these inmates coming out and creating more crime. Yeah. And any step closer to being successful by getting clothes, getting a license, a birth certificate, getting training, man, it's just increasing the odds of them not returning to the system. So I think anybody, any
Adam,
common sense.
We've even taken it a step further. We've also offered them bicycles. Those that ask for bicycles from the community that donates the bicycles. Mm-hmm. If they need a bicycle or means of transportation to get to and from work or to get home, because as you know, sometimes that walk could be a little long. We give them the bicycle so they have that transportation and they're not loitering.
It sounds like you guys are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, we're
really working hard to help the exiting of them. So that's awesome.
And a couple of things I want to mention, that you're not just throwing this stuff in a trash bag.
No, sir.
And what I love is Captain wanted bags so they can feel like they're actually going shopping.
Mhm.
So these inmates are getting clothes with dignity, and they're
Dignity.
feeling like they get to pick their own stuff. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Because if they feel like now they have this purpose and they go back out in society, now you got them their bike, now you got them their ID card, their birth certificate, clothes, and we're looking at getting them their job. There's no reason for them to reoffend. And so I just want to go back up for a minute because you kind of alluded to it, your staff. You didn't always have a reentry specialist.
No, I didn't.
When Sheriff Flowers came in, community policing was heightened. And I think one of those pieces was the fact that you got a reentry specialist, the fact that you have Deputy Roll. I mean, how many programs do you have now that Deputy Roll is kind of leading the way on? Poor Deputy Roll. She's
Poor
probably doing
Deputy
GED
Roll.
right now.
Yes, she's going to get me after this one. But Deputy Roll, she has been amazing. She's really been very helpful, and that she has, I would say, about 7 different programs on her hand.
Wow.
And also Derek does a lot as far as that reentry is concerned, because I never had that position, and then Derek came in. That's my reentry specialist, and he's doing amazing in that job as well. But each week there's always something new going on at the jail. Like now I'm also working on getting them certified as a forklift trainer. So I'm bringing that to the to the county jail, because warehousing is a big thing that's coming around. So we are also offering that warehousing at our jail with the certification for the forklift. I am also doing a pre-apprenticeship welding is also coming to the jail. That's going to start, I believe, next week. So that's coming. Whoever heard about a jail, our local jail offering pre-apprenticeship where they can get a certification. And then the next goal is to bring restricted barbering. And this is being offered through the Treasure Coast Technical College. And a more GED has also started in the jail. So and that's with the literary services of Indian River County. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on in our jail to try to help fight that recidivism.
That's
Well, I
great.
think that's very crucial, because when you go to like Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? You can't just say like, okay, you go out there and be good. If they have necessities, basic necessities such as food, clothing, things like that, they cannot think ahead and figure out like, okay, what else am I, how am I going to get a job and do good in society when I have all this other stuff that I need, and you guys taking care of it. It really gives the hope to, okay, well, now I have these basic necessities.
Yes.
I can start focusing on something else.
And it was an awesome feeling when I opened up the smart communication and I sent out the invite for the inmates who wanted to be part of the apprenticeship. I had to shut it down within less than 24 hours. I had over
Wow.
80 inmates that were eligible to take the class.
That's
So,
awesome.
it's just a matter of getting them the classes and the services that they need.
How many requests would you say comes into reentry on weekly? Would you say
Weekly?
roughly?
Oh, that's that number, well over 50.
Wow.
Well over 50. My GED list, I still have people that are waiting. But once again, I have to get the instructors in there to help run the different pods.
Sure.
But right now I have 2 that's coming on staff. So
That's great.
We're picking up on the GED.
Got quick questions since that, because I know that when you're in there, you can come in, or these programs can come in at different times, and you may not have enough time to finish like a GED course.
We
Is there
got
a way
that figured out.
We already
that
got
was
that
my-
figured out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got with Team Success. I believe his name is Michael C. Marsh.
I don't know
And
that guy.
yeah,
Great
I think it was Michael C.
I was
Marsh.
confused. Michael
I
Marsh.
get
Michael
confused.
C.
I don't know if I
Marsh.
should use a C.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Some respect on the name.
he helped me tremendously. So, and I'm glad you brought that up, Pedro. Because what happens is when they come into the program and they can't finish the GED, they go on to Treasure Coast Technical College, and Team Success will help them at that point to take the test.
That's
take
great.
the test. I think it was like 3 times. They'll
Yes.
take the test. They'll sponsor them
Wow.
to take the test. So we're not getting them started and then they get out there and they fall by the wayside.
Well, that's
We're
great,
not
yeah.
doing that. There's organizations like Team Success that's willing to help them out once they get out.
And the other piece is we got to thank our school district of Indian River
The
County,
school
because
district.
Principal Shields is amazing.
Yes.
I mean, it was one email of, well, what are we going to do if they start but don't finish and then they can't afford it? We're going to figure it out. So we want to thank very much Principal Shields, Dr. Moore, and the whole team at the school district. But time runs real fast. So I want to pick a couple other things for you, Captain. Speaking of things that are unheard of, you got goats, a baby calf, you got rabbits, guinea pigs, and God only knows what else there at the jail. Talk to us about this farm, Captain.
Well, the farm was designed to help the female inmate population because some of them have really, really bad criminal histories. And when they get out, they can't find a job just like the men. So the farm was also, it was designed to help those inmates to get a job at a nursery or get a job doing farming or just basic necessities of life as well. The farm started off with just three goats. Now I have 4. Now I have
Fainting goats,
fainting
too.
goats,
They're so
Tennessee,
cool if you haven't
Tennessee
seen these
fainting
things.
goats.
Are they good for video?
Pardon?
Are they good for video? I'm just saying.
They also 13 chickens. We also have our cow, or her name is Love. We have a garden. We have a lot of vegetables, and what we do once we reap the crop, we give them away to the community. Also, I shouldn't really say this, but my pond is also being stocked with fish. So that's another part that we're also teaching the inmates, when it comes to the fishing aspect.
Oh, it's beautiful.
well.
I've seen it firsthand. Yeah.
I'm
And
jealous.
it's a beautiful
Thank you.
garden and farm, and it's just growing. And definitely, I can definitely see that Eric Flowers is really digging it too.
Yeah.
I think it's just doing lots of good things there.
And there's so much more. So, Captain, you want to play with bees. Is that your next
Yes,
adventure?
my
Tell us
next-
about the bees.
My next adventure is to bring the bees to the county jail and take the honey and donate it back to the community. Everything that we're doing on that farm is going back to the community.
That's awesome.
So that's the goal. And then I also want to work. I want the inmates to learn how to make goat milk
Soap.
So I've
Wow.
asked Mr. Adam over here to.
He knows some people that do that
That
type of
can-
stuff.
Yeah,
Yes, that
I
can
do know
help
some
us.
people that make soap.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
So,
yep.
a couple last things, and then we'll take you off the hot seat, Captain, and we'll go to our 2 uplifters here for the remaining time. Out of 14 inmates when we started this, almost 7 months now, only 2 has come back.
Yes.
And one of them literally came back because he was afraid to check in with probation because he had nowhere to live. And so it was a blessing in disguise because now this young man is going to come out of the jail with his GED. He's going to come out learning a trade. So I'm glad he's back. But it's so sad that just based on he didn't know where he was going to live. So the partnerships are increasing. We're getting the public defender's office on board. The county judges know what we're doing. The ultimate goal is that we continue on this track of these community partnerships to figure out, okay, if these inmates really want to be successful, and we know that sometimes maybe it's not that second or third, maybe it's the 6th time, that you're giving them that access. And that's just an amazing thing. So out of 14, only have 2 back. What do you see this in 6 months from now on this exit to reentry and what you're doing with the jail? You're even talking about bringing in at-risk juveniles.
Yes.
Finish up your segment with talking about your Let's Talk program, Captain.
My last talk program is really centered for our teens and preteens and our young kids in our county that's beginning to slide downward. The goal is to bring them back up to speed and try to understand where their mindset is at. So Let's Talk is basically inviting them to the county jail and sit with a panel of an attorney and inmates, people that have been to DOC, people that are actually doing good in society, even law enforcement, different law enforcement groups, and the parents of the teens. So the teens or the preteens can just express what is going on and what is causing them to go down this path. So that's basically what
amazing.
Let's Talk is about, to just give them that opportunity to speak. And then also to have the parents talk to other parents who have experienced this, whose kids have made a turnaround, and not so much giving them parenting school 101, but just give them the advice on how to cope and how to go about getting their kid to be successful as well. So that is also coming to our jail.
That's great, Captain. We look forward to expanding when we have our sheriff on in the next couple months. But I want to end these last few minutes with my 2 uplifters here. And I just want to give both of you guys a shout out, because when I think about uplifters, I think about the fact that, Adam, you've helped us feed now thousands in this community. Same as Pedro. About 5 years ago, I met Pedro, and he was like a chicken with his head cut off, and still in the same day, it's the same adventure. But if it wasn't for you two, Team Success wouldn't be where it's at today. I mean, we've went from a $700 organization to over 50,000, and that's thanks to both of you. So even though you guys don't like to plug what you're doing in the community or what your businesses do, I want to leave these last 2 minutes apiece. Talk about, first off, why is community important to you, Adam, and any projects that you got coming up, and what in the world does ORC do? Take it away.
Well, boy, oh boy,
That's a lot.
Put on the spot.
Well, Captain just did 18 minutes. Come on.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, script. All right. Well,
Why do you care about the community? Because you're literally taking pictures and videos at the school. I mean, you sponsor like everything. The Morky is everywhere. Why? Why is community important to you?
I mean, I guess it just starts with the culture of who I am and the staff at my company. I mean, everybody just loves to give back. We're a bunch of caring individuals who just love doing it. And I'm all about trying to find like-minded business owners that want to give back too. And so I'm shooting these videos as representation of what a business should be doing for our community and trying to be that pillar of our community and doing events and just nonstop working like all of us in this room. And it just feels good. I just do it because it feels good. It feels right.
Now, talk about the different catastrophes. If someone has a flood, fire, whatever, ORC is there.
Oh, yeah. ORC's here 24/7, 365 days a year. You have an issue with your property, flood, water, fire, mold, crime scene, biohazard, board up, tarping, anything, any disaster, we're there for you. We train in the unthinkable so that you don't have to. So you call us and we come on out and you'd be surprised what we can do for you. And we do a lot. So, but Pedro over here, he's pretty awesome.
Before we get to Pedro, how can they contact ORC Services 24/7?
Oh, just go to our website, orcservices.com, orcservices.com.
And phone number?
772-589-8026.
Thank you, sir. Off to our realtor, Pedro. Why is community important to you? And you got 45 seconds.
All right. It's easy. I mean, I grew up here in Indian River County. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my children go to school here in Indian River County. I want this to be a county where there's resources for anything that's available. I'm not going to be here all the time, and I hope that for them or anybody else, we can do something. Now, with the real estate side, I donate a portion of it to local nonprofits and things like that, go for substance abuse or things that you do at Team Success. So.
And how can they contact you, Pedro? If they want to sell their home, buy a home, how do they call you?
My cell phone number, and I'm on 24/7, really, 772-494-3226.
Thank you. In closing, Team Success has many events, and we can't do this without the generosity from local businesses like Adam from ORC and Pedro from Deal Source. And Captain, it was an absolute pleasure of having you here today to hear of the way you're treating these inmates as human beings. You don't care what they're there for, but you don't want them coming back. How can you help Team Success in these last few seconds? Well, it's easy. You can go to our website, teamsuccessenterprises.org. We have a huge golf tournament coming up in July. We need teams, 20 teams. You can call us at 772-236-7770. We want to also thank the Home Depot of Sebastian. Right now, as we speak, they're putting together a grant with us to beautify this amazing farm that the captain has. We'll actually be going out there on Tuesday, and we look forward to seeing what that's going to look like. And we got some great projects over at the Hope for Family Center. But once again, for the beginning of the Uplifting the Uplifters, I think I had some amazing individuals on today. So once again, thank you, Adam Ogilvie from ORC Services, Pedro Burnaby, Realtor at Deal Source, and your captain over there at the jail, Captain Angelo Rosado Jones. Once again, this is Michael C. Marsh, your favorite community activist and advocate of Uplifting the Uplifters. And as always, baby, it's I am, you are, we are. It's Team Success, the Uplifting the Uplifters edition. See ya.